The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey everyone, how are you doing? Welcome to the webinar. Can you do me a favor, stick something in the chat box, let me know that you can see my screen and hear me okay? Okay, I've got a yes from Dominic, I've got a yes from Cynthia, a yes from Gareth, okay from Robert, okay from John, excellent. Seems everything is good, which is, fortunate. So yes, welcome. I'm Neil, I'm one of the co-founders of Convertri. If you go to the About Us page on our website, you can see me at the back there. I'm the one in the awesome hat. Andy is my business partner. He's our other co-founder. He doesn't have an awesome hat because, nobody's perfect, I guess. So what we're going to do on this call, this is designed as a getting started webinar. Can I just check what kind of experience do you have with Convertri at the moment? Just let me know on like a scale of 1 to 10 in the chat box. Okay, I'm getting zeros, ones, twos, a couple of threes. You don't have to be scared, John. It's perfectly fine. You're certainly not scared than I am. I'm not very good at webinars at all. I'm absolutely terrified at the moment, but I'm sure it's going to go fine. Fours, ones, no experience, beginner. Okay, cool. Looks like we have exactly the right crowd for this kind of presentation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build out a simple lead funnel entirely from scratch. By the time we're done, we are going to have an opt-in page, we are going to have a thank you page, and people will be able to come to this opt-in page. They'll be able to sign up to our list. They'll be automatically redirected to the thank you page, and on that thank you page, they are going to be able to download our lead magnet. So we'll have everything from the sign up to the delivery of this very simple funnel, just again, completely from scratch. After that, I'm going to just show you quickly, like basically some of my favorite hacks on how to make using the editor simpler. I use Convertri pretty much every day, both as part of what I do with the company and for my own projects as well. And obviously I've used it quite a lot. I've got quite a lot of experience with the editor now, so I'll just show you some things that I do to make my life a bit easier while I'm doing it. And then after that, I'm going to hang around for a question and answer session. So you can ask me any question you like, and I will do my best to answer. Obviously, you're more likely to get a good answer if the questions are actually Convertri related, but feel free to throw anything you like at me, and I will do my best. I'll try and keep an eye on the chat box on the way through the demo as well. So if you want to, if I'm going a bit too fast, if you want to see something again, then drop a question in the chat. I'll try and keep an eye on it, and I'll try and cover those as we get there. Questions that aren't related to the demo, that are about something else, about another bit of Convertri, I'll try and save those until the end so we don't get too distracted. Obviously, if you think I've missed your question, do feel free to ask it again. Bobby's asking, will this be recorded for consumption and reference later on? Yes, it will. We should be recording at the moment. As long as that recording goes fine, then it's going to go up in the knowledge base. It's just going to be there forever. You'll be able to watch it as long as you like. In fact, the last time we did one of these, that recording is already in the knowledge base. So you can go and watch that right now if you want. Everesto's saying, with the opt-in page, can you show us how to add a text box as well? Yep, that will absolutely be covered. Joanne's asking, is the webinar link the same every time? If you mean the link to the registration page for these webinars, yes, we do use the same one every time. Right, so let's get into the demonstration. So, like I said, first of all, we are going to build a simple squeeze page. And in fact, we are going to build this simple squeeze page. So see, it's not a complicated page at all. It should be quite quick to do. And we are going to start by, like we're in our funnel already, we're going to go to New Page up in the corner here and click that. And this opens Convertri's template selector. So you see there's a lot of different templates you can choose from. If you're a pro user, then there's a load more down here. If you want to have a look at the template before you use it, then you can click the preview button and that'll show you there, and then you can either close the preview or just use it. We're not going to use a template for this demonstration. Let's say we're just going to build the page completely from scratch. So we'll click Start a Page from Scratch and we'll call that opt-in. So we now have our empty page. And we have a completely blank canvas. So a couple of questions here. Dawn and Gareth are asking, can you show how to set up a custom domain? That's something, basically, I would need a domain name bought in advance. So I'm not going to be able to show that on this webinar. We do have guides on how to do that, though. I will stick one of those in the chat right now. Just go to the knowledge base and adding up a custom domain. The best one is usually to use our name servers, which will be this demonstration here. So there's, let me just stick that in the chat box. So that's got a video and there's a PDF walkthrough as well. That will show you the whole process of setting that up. So to get to the page. So the first thing we are going to do is we're going to get this big image background. And to do that, we are going to drag on the image element from the left-hand bar. And this brings up the media selector. So you can see I've already got this image on there, but I'm actually going to delete that just so you can see how to add one of your own images in. So these are all images that I've used on this account in the past. You can also click on Pixabay and search there. Now this image did actually come from Pixabay. You see that's that option there. But I actually downloaded this one because you can get bigger image resolutions if you download the image from Pixabay than you can from the API. So what I'm going to do is just take that file and drag it on. And you can see Convertri is uploading it now. So now we've selected that, we'll hit select. And we have our image on our canvas. And we can just move that around however we want. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it full width by clicking this button up here. And then we're just going to make that a bit bigger. We'll shift it up a bit. And you see, I'm doing this pretty much entirely by eye. I don't have set proportions that I've got. I don't know the exact size of this image. I'm just going for something fairly similar. And that's actually one of the things I quite like about designing pages in Convertri. I don't need set schematics. I guess I can just play around with things until they look good. So next we're going to sort out the top and bottom panels. So again, we'll drag on a panel element from that elements bar. We'll make it full width. Yeah, maybe down a bit. Yeah, something like that. And now we are going to change the background color. Again, going into the Properties panel, click Background. And if you click on Background Fill, you get the color picker. And the background on this page is kind of like this orangey beigey kind of color. So that's going to be like probably something like that. That's close enough. Now we want another one on the bottom. So I'm going to click the clone button. Up here with that element selected, we get a clone of it, and we'll just drag that down. Make that one a bit bigger. And there, so we've already got, we've got the image, we've got the panels at the back. You know, we're pretty much done already. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to create this panel with the text, with the form fields. And the first thing we're going to do with that is we're just going to drag another panel element on. And again, I'm not worrying too much about position, about sizing on this at the moment, because we can sort that out properly once all the elements are on there. For now, I'm just getting something on the canvas. And then we are going to add a text element. So this is, again, this top element on the bar. Just drag that on. And we can just type our text in right on the page. And we'll drag another one for the body text. And that text was something like, and then there were a couple of other bits of text on that page. We've got the enter your best email, and we've got the your details are safe with us. So we'll just add those on there as well. Okay, now obviously the text on this page looks a lot better than the text we've currently got in the editor. So now we need to format this and make it look good. Now we can do that, but individually, by individual elements, we can highlight the text, and then up here we can change the font, we can change the size, we can change the color, and set things like bold and italics. I actually prefer to do this through default styles because I find it makes editing or changing large pages an awful lot easier. So to do that, you can go to the page menu up here, and then the default styles tab. And what this does will let us set what the default for the page is. So I'm going to, like the standard font in the editor is Roboto, I'm going to change it to Lato. And I'm going to increase the line spacing to 1.8 because I like quite a lot of white space between my lines. I just think it makes things read easier. And now if we click done, you can see all the text boxes have changed. Like they've got the extra line space, they've changed the font, and you can do that without changing them individually. We can do the same for the main header font. So for that one, we are going to use Noto Sans and make it 24. And I'll increase the line spacing a bit, not quite as much. We'll make that 1.5. Now you can see nothing has changed at the moment because none of these boxes have the H1 style. We can change that by clicking into a text box, so we get the text bar. Click on More, select the H1 style, and you can see it's changed to what we set that to. Now we wanted these text boxes, we want them to be rather smaller and centered, so we're going to do that up here. We use the center alignment, and we'll change the font size to 12. I'll do the same with this one. So we've got another couple of questions coming through. Will the training be recorded? Will a replay be available? Yep, a replay will be available. And if you have a look in the, actually I haven't put that in the chat box, that's a complete lie. I'll pass the link around a bit later. We actually have a replay of the last time we did this webinar. That's already in the knowledge base, so you can have a look at that right now if you want. RDX Smith, logged in 3 times and no audio. Phone number is distorted. Sorry about that. I'm afraid there's not a whole huge amount I can do about that at the moment. But the good news is, yes, there will be a replay. Eric is asking, can you change the text for individual text boxes after setting the default? Yep, you definitely can. In fact, you just saw me change the size. Like you saw me change the size and the alignment just now. You can adjust any text box individually as much as you want. I just like doing it through defaults because that lets me change the whole thing a lot faster. Now we want the form elements on the page, and for that we have a set of them here. If you go to the form elements menu in the elements bar, and we have these different options. We want a name input, and we want an email input, and we want a submit button. And again, let's say I'm not worrying about position at all at the moment. We'll sort all that out a little bit later. What we will do is go into the input properties up here so we can change the styling. So we're going to make that Lato again and maybe a bit smaller. Yeah, let's do that. That looks quite nice. Same with the other one. And on the submit button, if we go into button settings, then we can change the label. We can change the font family. Again, I'm going to use Noto Sans for this one. You can also change the text color. You can change the background color. I'm going to leave this one as it is. So now we want to sort out the positioning. And you can do this with Convertri's alignment options. So first I'm going to have that panel a bit narrower. And what we want first of all is we want all these elements centered within that panel. So we have the panel selected, and up here you see these like two arrow icons here. These give you a set of alignment options. So with that panel selected, we can click Center Align, and all the elements will snap to the center. We can lay out our form better if we use Shift and click each one to multi-select all 3 options. Then we'll go back to Alignment, Distribute Vertically, and you get nice even spacing between the first and the last. And I think now we'll just move the I'm just using the arrow keys for a bit of like fine positioning here. So we'll just move that a bit further up. And yeah, I think that looks all right. So what we're going to do now is, because if you have a look at this page again, you can see we've got rounded corners. This is a bit transparent. That's kind of an effect I quite like. So to do that, we're going to go into the element properties, First of all, we'll go to borders. We'll put this switch on so all the borders have the same radius. We'll make that 20. And then we are going to change the background. First of all, we'll change the background itself just to white. And then we are going to use this bar on the right to take down the transparency. Like, we can make it entirely transparent if we want. Obviously that looks a bit rubbish. We just want it like a bit translucent. So we'll put that about there. And we're pretty much there on our page. Last thing to do is we need a privacy policy link in the bottom. So to do that, we're going to add on another text element. Add in privacy policy. And you can see here, this is like by default, it's what we set it to beforehand with later and 16. So we'll just center that and use the hyperlink button up here to add a link. And this page now looks pretty much done. The last thing we need to do is check the mobile version. And we can do that by clicking on the design for, like we're on design for desktop at the moment. We click for design for mobile up here. And you can see this is what Convertri's automatic mobile conversion gives you. And to be honest, like, that's not bad. What I might do is I might take the size of this text down a little bit. Again, this is something that if you highlight this, you can change the scaling on text boxes individually, but it's also another thing you can do through default styles. So on the paragraph default style here, see the default is 150%. I'm going to take that down. I'm going to make it 125. And now we go to mobile, and you can see it's a bit smaller, which I think looks a bit better. So we're going to save our page. Now, the one thing we haven't done yet is set up the form on that page. We haven't connected that yet. And we haven't done that yet because we want to set up the thank you page first. And I will show you like why that is very shortly. Now, for the thank you page, I'm going to make like something that's very similar to this one. So I'm going to start by making a clone of this page. So we'll go to this three-dot menu. We'll click More and Clone. Just make that. Thank you. John's asking, should you always start with the desktop version first? I definitely think so. It's an awful lot easier because mobile is a lot more linear, it's a lot easier to lay out the desktop version and then adjust mobile to suit rather than the other way around. Certainly when I'm building pages, I basically ignore mobile until my desktop version is done, and then go and adjust the mobile version after that. So in our thank you page, we're just going to edit some of this text. And again, that's just highlighting the text and just typing over the top. It works just like it does in Word. And we'll change this to click the button below to download your free report. Put the button up there. We don't need any of these elements now. So we'll just highlight all those. Again, this is just holding down Shift and clicking each one to select all of them. And then I'll hit the delete button up here to get rid of them. And we'll make that a bit smaller as well. Now, the text on the button is fine. Might use a different color for it, just make it look a bit different. So we can go to background and Maybe use this red. Yeah, why not? Now we want to make it so that when someone clicks this button, they download our lead magnet. And the way we do that is we select the button, go into button settings, and we change the mode to download. And now we can select what file we want, like we want them to download when they hit the button. So we'll click on select file, and you can see I've already got the file uploaded. Again, that works just like the image does. You just drag it on and Convertri will upload the file. You can have any like PDF document, that kind of thing, up to 40 megabytes. So we'll just click that and select. And that's it. The file is now attached to that button. So when someone clicks it, then they're going to get the download. And again, we will check the mobile version quickly. So again, that looks fine, but because there's not very much content, it's quite short. So I might just drag that down so it's a bit more, so it covers up more of what you'll get on most mobile screens. Yeah, maybe up a bit. No, actually that's poor plan, isn't it? We'll just put it in the middle. There we go. So we'll save that. Now we want to publish our first page, and to do that, we'll click on Publish here. And we've already got the domain on here, so like at the moment, the domain I'm just working on is neil.convertri.com. Let's call this demo/thank you. And hit Publish. And the page is now live. We click on View Page. You can see it is there. It's on the internet. I'll stick the link in the chat so you can have a look for yourself. That is there and live. And if you click the Download Now button, then you will get the report. So the last thing we want to do here is connect up the form on the other page and connect our autoresponder and set the redirect to this page. So we'll close that. And what we're going to do now is we're going to drag through. We're going to click on that arrow and we're going to connect these two pages. And what this does is tells Convertri that we want people to go from this page to this page. And that means it will help us set up the thank you page a lot faster. So now we need to set up the form. So we'll click on Forms up here, and we need to connect our autoresponder. MailChimp is the one I have connected to this account, so we'll select that. And we'll just pick one of our demo lists for this. So with autoresponders, you can set the type for different fields, and this is basically a matching exercise. You can see first name is set to the first name type. That means Convertri will look for whatever input also has the first name type, and whatever gets put in there will get put in the first name field in your autoresponder. Depending on the autoresponder, some fields are fixed, so they have a type you can't change. Some are pre-filled, and this will all depend on the autoresponder API. Like they're all different on how they set it. MailChimp has some pre-filled and email is fixed. So we can go on to next. And you can see because we drew the arrow between the two different pages and we've already got the thank you page published, the address for that page is already filled in. So we can just click done. And that should just work. So we'll now publish the page. I'll put you at demo/opt-in. And again, that page is now completely live. And once again, I'll put the link in the chat so you can have a look at it. So that is the funnel completely built. Took us about half an hour, and that was with some diversions for questions with a bit of explanation. So it's really a pretty quick job to do. Does anyone have any questions on that before I move on to the next bit? Elaine's asking, can you have a video as a freebie? Yeah, I think that's fine as long as it's under 40 megabytes. I think that that won't be a problem. There are only certain file types that we allow. Like obviously stuff like executable files. You can't upload those. But yeah, I think I don't think there's any problem with MP4s. Lal says it works. Elaine's asking, so you have to set up the list in your autoresponder first. Yes, you do need the list set up in your autoresponder for Convertri to connect to. Christina's asking, what if your autoresponder isn't on the list? In that case, if we go back to forms, you can see there's also an HTML forms integration available here. We can't do that on this page because I've already connected an autoresponder API. But if that's not done, then you can use that. You can take the HTML the autoresponder provides. Convertri will give you a place to paste it in, and it will pull the fields from that, and you can connect them in the same way. So any autoresponder which isn't on the list here, where we don't have an API for it, like 99% of them you can connect that way. NA, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. NA is asking, do I need to have my own domain before? If you want to set up a custom domain on Convertri, then you'll need to have that first of all. We do provide, you can have, I think, up to 3 convertri.com subdomains. So you can have, you can use one of those if you like. That's what I'm using at the moment, just like neil.convertri.com. You can have na.convertri.com, as long as no one's taken it yet. So we suggest having a custom domain because it just looks a bit more professional, but the Convertri subdomain will work absolutely fine if that's what you want to use. Lisa's asking, is there a way to embed when the video is unlisted in YouTube? Yep, that should be fine. Basically, in the media menu over here, you can see there is a YouTube video element. So you can drag that on. And then you just add the URL of your video in here. As long as the video is set for embed to be allowed, then that should work absolutely fine. Ken's asking, is there any way to copy a form from a different page capture system that we're using? To be honest, I'm not entirely sure. If they offer an HTML system, like I was talking about with Christina earlier with the autoresponders, then that should work just like that one does. Oh. Apparently my neighbors have decided this is a good time to do DIY, so I hope you lot can't hear the drill. But yeah, if they've got an HTML, if they offer HTML for the forms, then you should be able to embed that the same way. Elaine's saying, I'm editing one of your funnels. Can I delete the photo that's there? Yep, you can. Any of our templates, they're all built in Convertri, you can adjust them just as you would as if you built the page yourself. So you can just select the image, hit delete, and that'll get rid of it. Or what might be easier is if you click the change image button in the properties panel up here, you can replace that image. Let's use these seagulls. you can just swap that image out for another one. Barry's saying, if you don't want to use an autoresponder, can you just send the opt-in fields to an email address? You can, as long as you have a pro or an agency account. In that case, let's see if we've got that on here. I think that's another option that's not here because I've connected an API already. I'm probably going to have to clear that to show you. Oh, no, there we are. If you click in email here, then you can switch on email notifications, and that will send the email direct to your Convertri account email address. So you don't need to have an autoresponder set up. You can just have the data emailed to you if you prefer. Now let's just put my form back. Christine's asking if we have a voice to text feature. We do not, I'm afraid. And he's asking if you can use your own photos. Yes, you can. As it happens, actually, this photo of seagulls, that's one of mine. I took it at Victoria Park before we weren't allowed to leave the house. So you can upload those just the same way, just drag the image into the media gallery. Tom Scissor just joined in. Will you send out a replay? Yep, there will be a replay. In fact, what I will do, since this comes up quite a lot, let's go to, because as I've said before, this isn't the first time we've run this webinar. We've done it a couple of times now, and we do have the last showing actually in the knowledge base already. So we'll just take the link or just stick that into chat. So there we are. You can go and have a look at that right now. So yes, there will be a replay because it's there already. But we are recording this one as well, and that will also go into the knowledge base. And a bit of appreciation for my photography skills. Thank you very much, guys. Okay, so let's go to the next part, which is where I would like to show you a few, basically a few editor hacks that I find really useful when I'm building pages. So I have a page ready for this. All right, so this is one of our fairly basic templates. See, it's designed around a cafe theme. And I'm using this one because it's quite a good one to, it's got quite a lot of different bits. It's quite a good way to show you how to edit and manipulate a template. And these tips should be quite useful for you in in building your own pages as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is switch on element outlines. So from the display menu up here, we'll switch this on. So now you can see every element, you can see the outline in this hot pink color. And so you can see where all the text boxes are, how the whole page is put together. So the first thing I want to show you is how to add sections in the middle. Because let's say you want a new section between this top bit and this menu section here. Now you could move every element down. Obviously on a page like this, even on a page far smaller than this, that's going to be an awful lot of hassle. So the best way to do this is to select the first element you want to move, which in this case, this big black section. Hold down the Shift button and then drag down, and you will open up some space. And what will happen here is that every element below the one you've got selected will move with it. So you can open up the space. You can put another section in here, and it's far easier to add in. This also works going upwards. So actually, no, I don't want that anymore. I'm going to put that back. So hold shift, drag it up, and again, everything below has come with it. Another useful feature related to this is if there is a lot of space you want to close up. I mean, in this case, it's probably going to be more like if you're deciding like you want the top section of a template, but you don't really like maybe the top and the bottom, but you don't really want the rest of it. So let's say, like, I don't want that menu section. I don't want that about section. And now you've got this big space you want to close up. You can shift and drag again, like bit of hassle. If you click the element that you would be shift dragging upwards, click on the remove white space button here, and that will just shift the whole page. It will just completely close the gap and snap it shut. Another useful thing here is the shift resize section or shift resize feature. So in this case, let's say we wanted another 3 testimonials in this section, so we want to open up a bit of space. And again, you could make this section bigger and then adjust everything down manually. But rather easier is to hold down the shift button and then do your resizing, because that will let you grow the panel, and again, everything below moves with it. So you've just opened up a bit of space you can use without needing to rearrange all the other stuff on your page. And just like shift drag, that works upwards just as well. Another useful feature, or another useful keyboard shortcut that I use quite a lot, is the cloning one. I showed you a little earlier, I think, how to clone using the button up here. You can also do it if you hold down the Alt key and just drag the element, you will get a copy of it. This also works for contained elements. So now you see we've got that small image in a big image. We can clone the big image and we get a copy of both. So all those are quite useful little hacks. But the most probably the most important thing that will save you time when building your pages is understanding how to construct a page so that the mobile basically just works. Give me a sec to grab a drink and I'll show you how to do that. Now, see here, Tom's asking if he can have A/B tests. You can. I will show you how to do that at the end of the demo. So for mobile, you can see we've got our page here. You can see how that looks. Now, if we go to the mobile page, now the conversion's not great on this one. So you can see here we've got these headings. They're separated from the bits of text that go with them. The testimonials, again, are the headshots are separated from the testimonials, which isn't great. Down here, these social icons have all been placed vertically when really we'd rather prefer them still horizontal like that. And we can rearrange stuff if we want. We can rearrange this however we want. We can just fix that manually. But if you construct your page properly, then you can have Convertri do quite a lot of this stuff for you. So let me show you how to do that. Now, the key thing with this is understanding how Convertri puts the mobile page together to begin with. So what it does is it basically runs along the page from left to right and top to bottom and just adds the elements in a line as it finds them. So here, the first element it hits as it's coming from top left is this logo box. So if we go to mobile, you see that's the first thing that it puts on there. Then it goes along. It hits the we are open, and that's the second thing it puts there. Then here's the image, and you see it coming is the third thing it puts there. And that much is fine, but then we get to this bit down here, where so Convertri is coming along and it's finding this element, then it's finding this element, then it's finding this element, then it's finding all the text below it. And so that is the order it puts it on the page, which isn't what we want. Now, the way we fix this is by understanding that Convertri understands containment. So it understands that if elements are within the same container, then you want them kept together. So here, we're going to add a panel. I'm just going to put that like that, so it's got these two inside it. Now we are going to send it backward. So now, like when I move the panel, you can see the elements come with it, so they're all contained. And now I'm just going to do the same on the other two. Just like that. There we are. Now I've left these like as with our standard gray just so you can see what's going on. They don't have to have a color for this to work, like you don't need to be able to see them. So just to show that, I'm just going to make this one entirely transparent. And now if we go to the mobile view, then you can see that Convertri has kept them all together because it's hit, like the scanner has come along, it's hit this container and it's added the container and everything inside it. So that has now kept everything nice and together. We can do the same on the testimonials down here. So we can just drag those down, make those like that. And again, now because the headshots and the quotes are within the same container on the mobile view, they're kept together. Makes your life an awful lot easier. Now, the other thing to look at is these social icons here. If you remember on the automatic conversion with the way it's constructed at the moment, then they're in this like vertical line because again, Convertri's just added them like 1, 2, 3, 4 as it's found them. However, if we put a panel behind them to contain them, and again, we'll make that transparent. And as long as this container is less than 320 pixels, then Convertri will not rearrange the elements inside it, because at that size, it understands that it doesn't need to rearrange them for the mobile page. It's already narrow enough that it can just fit on a mobile screen without any problem. So if we just check the size in the positioning tab, you can see that panel is 208. So we can go to the mobile view, and they are all kept in a line. If we make that panel wider, so let's say like 362, so bigger than 320, go to mobile view, then Convertri's had to shrink the panel, and so it's rearranged all the stuff inside it. Make it smaller again, and we're back to the way we want it. So those are like my favorite hacks for using the editor. They're certainly what I find like makes things a lot easier. I'm going to have a quick look at any questions that came through while I was doing that. If you've got any questions on what you've just seen, like please do put them in. I'll hit them when I get to the end. And then after that, we're 10 to 5 at the moment, my time. So yeah, feel free to ask me like any questions you want now. We'll just opening this up to general Q&A. So Dominic's asking, where do we see the replay? That's going to go up in the knowledge base. The link to the replay of the last one of these we did, that's in chat at the moment. The replay of this one will be in the same section, but obviously, like, you can watch that right now. Bobby's saying the shift drag is a time saver. It definitely is. It was one of the very first things that when we did like the very first alpha of Convertri, like so many years ago, like we didn't have anything like that. And we tried building a couple of pages in it, and we were like, you know what, this isn't going to work. We definitely need something to like make this easier. And that's what we came up with. I think it works really well. Christina's asking for, could you schedule a demo of Quizitri? Yeah, if there's interest in it, I don't see why not. Herb's asking, will Convertri work with Firefox or any other browsers? The published pages will work in absolutely any browser. Like it doesn't matter what your visitor is coming to look at them on. Like as long as it's more modern, like Internet Explorer 5, it's going to be fine. For the app itself, the app is designed for Chrome. That's the only one we officially support. I think Firefox works okay, but we don't like. It's not something we're out to check for. Basically, because Chrome is like by far the most popular browser, and because it's free, like that's what it's designed to use. Dean's asking, could you put all three elements in the same container and have it look okay? I assume you're talking about the text elements down here. If you put them in they wouldn't work if you put them all in one container, because if you did that, then Convertri would just rearrange the like it would hit the container, but then it would rearrange the stuff inside it in the same way. So you'd still get the three headlines and the three bits of text, but within this one container. So you're rather better off doing each one in its individual container. What I generally do with something like this is like I don't tend to put them on the page and then do the containers after. Like this is just like to show you how it works in this demo. What I would do if I was constructing this page from scratch is I would lay out the first one. So I'd say I want, okay, bread like that. Say I like it like that. Maybe say get everything centered. And then rather than trying to do that again, I would just hold down the Alt key and then just clone the whole box. And then adjust the text inside it. It's generally far faster that way. Another thing you can do, which I find quite useful, is using the alignment functions to lay out columns like this. So you see at the moment these, because I've just thrown them on, they're a little bit off center. If I just make it so that, say the left one and the right one are where I want them, so like that, then I can select these three, go to the alignment and distribute horizontally, and it just lays them out nicely, 1, 2, 3. Dawn saying, did you say this has to be connected to a list? What if you don't have a list yet? You don't need to have anyone on your list to sign them up or like to connect the list to a Convertri page. You just need the list created in the autoresponder. Like Convertri's there for helping you to fill that list up and get leads. Okay. Barry's saying, for a site with multiple pages, can you build common headers and footers so they can just be included on the page? Then when you change something in the header or footer, it will be automatically be changed on all pages. Yes, you absolutely can. This is one of our newest big features and probably already one of my favorites. Let's see if I can show you how this works. So yeah, okay, so you can see there is a header and footer section in the funnel here. So you can set up a shared header and footer for the whole funnel. So let's go into this opt-in page. So in the page menu, there is a headers and footers section. So I'll just use the header. on this one just to show you how it works. So yeah, click done. So we've now got a special header editor up here. So we're going to edit that. Let's throw in a couple of elements. Let's make it there. We can change the size of the header. We'll just drag that up. Let's throw another image in there. No, you like the seagulls, so let's have a sparrow as well. So fine. So we've now set that up as a shared header, like across the whole funnel. So we'll just save that. Yep. Close that page. Now we'll go into into any other page in the funnel, and we can tell this page as well. Use the shared header, and you can see that is like what we did on the last page. That's already there. Let's say actually no, what we want, we're going to put the sparrow over there. Save that. Now we'll return to our opt-in page and see the changes we made on the thank you page are now reflected over here because they're using the shared header. So yes, you can definitely do that. Joe's asking, are there graphics on the standard versions, like arrows, social media icons, and so on? There aren't, and this is something I've been planning on adding for absolutely ages, and we just haven't got around to yet. Obviously, if you have your own graphics, you can add them really easily, just the way I showed you how to do it, dragging them into the media gallery, but it's not something that's just automatically provided as part of Convertri. Lisa's asking, are all the Google fonts included, and can they be brought in if they're not? Yes, they are all included. If you click on the fonts button up here, then we've got a font manager, and these are there's 32 fonts here, and these are just the ones that I've added to this particular Convertri account. You can also import from Google and choose like any one of these. If you want to import a font, you just click on the import button, and that will get added into your Convertri account. So up here we can now use Economica because we just added that. Garrett's asking, where can I find details of linking a new domain name to be hosted by Convertri? I think I put that in the chat a little while ago. Let me see if I can dig it out again and add it again for you. So for this, you want to get your domain and then set it up on our name servers. So in this, I've gone to the knowledge base, I've gone to the domains and hosting section, and the one you want here is the full walkthrough setting up a new custom domain, and that'll give there's a video walkthrough and there's a PDF as well with step-by-step guide on how to do that. The hosting service that we use for the example is GoDaddy, but pretty much any. So if you're using someone like Namecheap, it'll look a bit different, but the process will be the same. I'll just add that into the chat again. George is asking, is there a terminology chart that describes all the terms, like container and element, and so on? There's not, but that's actually quite a good idea. I will have a look and see if we can get one of those made up and put that in the knowledge base. Generally, for these examples, basically what we call an element is anything that comes in from this bar. So we have a text element like this one, an image element here, any of these form fields or buttons. There's quite a wide variety of them. When I say container, what I basically mean is something that contains something else. So in this case, this panel here In fact, if we turn on the element outlines, you'll be able to see a bit easier. This panel here has got all these elements inside it, so it's a container for all those elements. That's basically just what I mean by that. John's asking, is Quizitri still under active development? Kind of yes and no. Like we still keep it supported. Like if someone finds a bug, we'll be looking at fixing it. But we're not currently looking actively at adding new features. The reason for that is basically because we're focusing more on Convertri at the moment. Convertri is obviously a far larger app. It requires rather more dev cycles to do, and the cost of switching from one project to the other is just quite expensive. And we've got far more people using Convertri than we have using Quizitri. So we just think this is like doing stuff like building things like the shared headers and footers is just a better place to spend the resources. Matthias is asking, is it possible to connect the MailChimp account of a client? It is. I mean, you can connect any MailChimp account that you want and you have access to. Convertri accounts are like they are one integration per account, like per type. So you can have like one MailChimp, one Aweber, one SendLane. If you want to connect multiple like MailChimp accounts, you want like your MailChimp account and say a client MailChimp account, then you can do that through the agency plan. Agency gives you access to sub accounts, which will basically let you give clients their own little Convertri area where you can connect up their own integrations. You can give them access to their own pages, that kind of thing. Chip's asking, how do you add Facebook pixel events? I know how to add it to scripts on a funnel level and how to add per page, but how do you add an event that will track in Facebook Ad Manager? As far as I know, if you just put it in if you put the code in the script section, it should just work fine. That's certainly what we've always done. Elaine's asking, is there a demo that explains what each button on the page does? There's not a demo as such, but we do have a Convertri course, just like a quick tutorial walkthrough. Let me find the link on that for you. Yep, there we are. Convertri crashcourse.productdino.com. Again, I'll stick this link in the chat. So basically, this is our onboarding course. It will teach you how to use the editor, and it covers quite a lot of what I've been through today is covered in here, along with a load of other stuff. So there's 6 different parts of it. There's one on using templates. There's one on using the editor. There's one setting up forms, building websites, so connecting the pages. There's some on actions and events, which are actions and events are more advanced stuff, but they are very, very cool. You can get some great effects with those. And one on layers. And in any one of these, there's a series of videos, like walking through examples. There is a walkthrough PDF. Let's see if I can show that to you. So you have a full PDF here, it shows you exactly what to do. It's full step by step on how to do every little bit. So click this, click this, click this. How to do each little bit. I know a lot of people have found that very useful, so that's probably a good thing to check. Bobby's asking, is it okay to have elements outside the grid lines? Yep, that's absolutely fine. What these lines are for, I'm just going to turn off this shared header. It's a little bit distracting on this page. So what these lines are for, this guideline on the left, the cyan guideline on the right, and the line here, these they don't really affect your published page very much. They are just for basically a reference. What they are designed for is if you keep everything within a certain width, then it can reliably be shown on pretty much any monitor. When we first released the app, we used 960 pixels wide for our like default guideline width, because that was like the recommended standard at the time. Now these days monitors have just got bigger, resolutions have got bigger, so you can go anywhere up to like 1280. We keep the default at 960 because that's still like fairly good practice thing to do. But if you want them wider, then you can go into the display menu, like you can up that to say 1280, and that just widens the guidelines out, so you can see those are the central 1280 pixels on your page. The line, the horizontal line here, this is a fold guideline. So basically, anything above that pay or anything above that line, you can pretty much guarantee will be on the it'll be above the fold for virtually any monitor, even the smaller laptops. Obviously, with most monitors, because that's a fairly aggressive level, with most monitors they'll actually be a bit more. Like on this page, like the download now button is going to be above the fold on most monitors. Like you can go, this line I think is set at something like 560 pixels. You can go anywhere down to like 720 and it'll be fine in most cases. Dean's asking, is there any way to pass a tag to your autoresponder? Yes, there is. We just go into the form setup. So you can see here, there's a subscriber tag, so you can search for tags. And if you just enter the tag, enter the tag in there, and that will send that tag to your list or to your autoresponder when someone signs up. Vincent's asking, what's the difference between Pro and Agency, and how do I know what version I purchased? Well, I'll answer the second bit first, because that is far easier. If we just leave this site. No, not now. Down in the bottom corner of the screen, you'll see a little tag. Now this one says agency because this is an agency account. Obviously everything you've seen is available on every Convertri account, but this one is an agency account. If that says standard or pro, then that is the level of account that you've got. So just go into your dashboard, have a look down there, and that will tell you what level your account is. Now the difference between agency and pro, first of all, the limits are higher on agency because agency is designed as to use Convertri with clients. We've given you, I think there's 4 times as many impressions. You can have a lot more pages, a lot more funnels, because you're going to be using them with a lot of clients. Agency also gets you sub accounts, which let me see if I can show you those. So in this account setting, there is a sub accounts area when you have agency. I don't have any set up on this account because again, this is really just one I use for noodling around myself. But if you add a sub account, they work kind of like I described before. You can add clients to the sub account. They will get their own login. They'll be able to edit any pages you make for them. They won't be able to make their own, so they can't just run off and use Convertri on your dime. But they if they want to change a headline or change a color or something, they can just do that without bothering you. But also in those sub accounts, you can set up separate integrations. You can set up separate funnels. You can set up separate access. You can set up separate domains as well. So you can keep everything fenced off for your client in their own little sub account. That is the main difference between the plans. Dorian, hope I'm pronouncing that right. Dorian is asking, can you add a tick box for GDPR purposes? Yes, you can. I'm not sure if we have a walkthrough on that or not, but the way to do it, let me just go back to campaigns. So basically the way to do that would be to set up a layer with something that pops up when the person first visits your site, and then set up have your cookie analytics script and so on. You can set that up in custom scripts. You can just add the code in here. Now you can see there's a box here called Run on Page Load. Now you want to switch that off because you don't want the person to have your scripts run or your later analytics stuff run for the GDPR just when they automatically come to the page. So you want to switch that off. And then you want to set up an action, which again, the way to set up actions is done in the Convertri crash course, which is a good thing to look at. So that part 5, actions and events. So that'll run you through how to set up actions. And you can set up an action so that the script only runs when someone has ticked the box and clicked the button. So you can confirm that they've said yes, I'm willing to get these analytics scripts. You can also be a bit less aggressive with it. You can set up, you can add a checkbox to a form like this. If we go into form elements, just add a checkbox in there. And you can make that checkbox required. So you can have something like I agree to the terms and conditions, I agree to be added to whatever list, I agree to be contacted, that kind of thing. You can have that, and so they can't submit the form, they can't be added to the list or download the product without having ticked that. So yes, that is a thing you can do. Ahmed's asking, how do you change the elements in the Convertri default header or footer? We don't actually have a default header or footer. It comes entirely blank. If you've added a shared header or footer to your page, like this one here, then you can just add whatever elements you want to it, through the elements bar. So you can adjust that however you want. Okay, Sam says, first, sorry if I'm off topic. Like I said, nothing is off topic here. Obviously, I think I can be rather more help if you're asking about Convertri, but no, even if you're not, give me a try. We'll see what happens. In this case, what other ways are there in Convertri to have a gated video in a funnel sequence, such as opt-in first leading to the video page? Not entirely sure I understand the question. But you can have, if you can set up your video on a thank you page, so they have to opt in, via a page like this to get to the page in the first place. Something you can also do, we actually have a walkthrough for this one, I think. If we go to video, is you can set up a lead gate system. Again, this is with actions and events. So you can set up a combination of actions that work this way. Basically, you can set up some actions such that people can watch 30 seconds of your video, and at that point it pauses and they get locked out. They have to opt in to see the rest. And the way to do that is covered in this article, which I'm about to put into chat. So I hope some of that answers your question. Brian's asking, will I post it as a replay? Yep, there will be a replay. If you have a look in the chat, you can also see the replay of the last one of these webinars that we did. Joanne's asking, is there training on how to set up email with our URL? So my name at mywebsite.com. There is actually there's a couple of bits for this. The first one in domains and hosting. Again, they're just going through the knowledge base here. And we always how to receive email at your domain. So there's a guide and a video on how to do this here. And again, I'm going to get a lot of links in chat at the moment, so we'll just add that one as well. There is also a one of these previous training webinars. There we are, number 2. So this didn't just cover emails. I say there's also collecting data, split testing. But this walks through the whole process in rather more detail. And again, this is just available in the knowledge base, like it's not going anywhere. You can watch it whenever you want. But that will run you through like the whole process of getting email set up. Like, so if you've got your domain at Convertri, you can get your email like set up at your at mywebsite.com. Lane's asking, can you set up a membership site with training lessons? We don't have a membership module in Convertri. It's one of the things we kind of go back and forth on. Like, is it worth adding? At the moment, we're thinking probably not, mostly because there's just so many good providers out there already. I don't really know what we're adding to the field. However, like you can connect pretty much any membership site system to Convertri. We use industry standard webhooks, so you can set those up so that when someone purchases through the Convertri cart, then like your membership site is notified, they get access automatically. There is specific training on how to do that with the Product Dino platform, which is the one we use for stuff like this Convertri crash course. But like the similar kind of thing works with pretty much any platform. Bobby's asking, is there a way to create a quiz that's maintained within one page and not have it linked to several pages for the questions? You could, like, it's not, got to be honest, it's not really what Convertri is designed for, but you could probably do something along those lines with layers. So let me just, again, switch out of that. So with layers, like you can set up a, you can set up a layer on a page. So at the moment, see, I'm working on a layer that's like above the base page. And you can add elements to that layer. So I could put in, so we have a question like this: what is the best David Bowie album? The answer is, of course, that they're all great, but if you have to pick one, Hunky Dory is the way to go. And you can set it up so that, like the question shows on the layer, you can have a button again with the actions, which again, I recommend you go to the Convertri crash course and go to part 5 here to learn how actions work. But you can set up an action so that like they can choose an answer and it will hide that layer and open another layer with the next question on it. That's probably the best way to do it with Convertri. It won't like capture the answers, but again, like I say, it's not really what Convertri is designed for. You probably want a more specialized quiz system if you want something a bit more involved. Keith says it's worthwhile adding revision number dates and page numbers to the PDFs to help out and let you know if a doc's been updated. Yep, that's a good idea. Sam was saying he was actually meaning talking about the opt-in for the GDPR. So again, that's as I was talking about with the checkbox. So you can add a checkbox, like you can add a checkbox to your form. Back into the properties. Obviously, you probably want a bit more of a detailed note than that. But you can make it so the checkbox in checkbox properties there, you can make it so that is required. So they have to accept the terms and conditions before they can opt in. Bobby's asking, is there a stopgap with the fold with regard to background colors? I found my creations do not extend to the bottom on the mobile side of the design. That is, I think that's actually a bug which we're looking at the moment. If you're using the page background, so yeah, in visual styling here, you see you've got background image or background color. So if I change that to, I don't know, say red, now you can see the background color of the page has gone red rather than white. If you're using that currently on the mobile view, then it won't, like, that will display for basically the first mobile screen, and then it won't display after that. And basically, it was a side effect of another fix we tried. I'm not entirely sure how it got through with that in there, but it did. We are looking at it at the moment. I'm relatively hopeful of it being fixed next Tuesday, but that's it's always a bit up in the air with dev stuff. However, in the meantime, the easiest fix for it is just to use panels rather than using page background. So, rather than having, say in this case, like a red page background and putting your elements on top of that, if I just switch that off again, then rather than that, I would add a panel for the section. Make that red, put your elements in there, and that will display on mobile all the way down. Dean saying, as an old programmer, I'm curious, what language is Convertri coded in? This is, to be honest, this is a better question for my business partner because he's the one who builds it. I'm just the one who talks about it. But I believe, I may be talking complete rubbish here. I believe the back end is PHP and the front is JavaScript. I might have that wrong, but I think that's it. TW asks, where do I see how many sub accounts I have? You can do that from your account screen. So if you go to account, you go to sub accounts, and you can see how many you've got active here. If you have an account where sub accounts are limited, then you'll also be able to see that in the profile settings. There'll be another entry on the list here, and it'll tell you how many you've used and how many you've got left. Fnu's asking, I have the charter account. What does that mean? The charter account was basically what we released when we first launched Convertri, a long time ago now. July 2016, I think that was. That was it was a special version of the account that had, it was unlimited access for one thing, with certain levels of a special feature set, a special limit set. So it's basically just another account type. Vincent saying, if I use a custom domain name, is the site still hosted by Convertri? Yes, if you're publishing pages on Convertri, then they'll be hosted by us. Okay, we have another one. When you add a tick box as you described, how do you get that info into your autoresponder? You can set that up. No, wrong one. So I didn't save the changes, so I'm going to have to add that again. So I think that's true. Yep. So we have our checkbox in there. If we go to forms. Now you can see that because we've got a checkbox in there, we have this field for tags from checkboxes. So you can set up a tag such that if someone's ticked the box, then that tag gets sent to the autoresponder, and if they haven't ticked the box, then it won't. Yes, Tom, can I set up A/B split tests? I promised to show you that and then completely forgot about it. So let's go do that now. So for split tests, you click on the three-dot menu up here, you click Start a Split Test. And this will create basically two versions of your page. So variant A will be the standard one, variant B is like the new one, effectively, or at least that's the way I do it. You can edit any one you want. So let's say we want that. So we want to test it with a red headline. Now we can save that and publish. And now basically Convertri will split your traffic between the two different options. So here, if I click on view page, then it's going to be like that was 50-50 random whether or not I got the black headline or the red one. Now I've visited it once. I've been tagged with this, so I'll just keep getting the red one if I come back. But now we've done that, you can see for each one the number of conversions, the number of visitors, and the conversion rate. When you've decided like which one you like best, or which one has the best result, you can click on the three-dot menu of the winner, select Stop the Split Test, and that will basically publish your winning page and remove the loser. Dawn is asking, what does the WordPress plugin do? The WordPress plugin is designed to show your pages on a WordPress site. It's probably the easiest way of getting your pages on the same site as your WordPress one. It's not the best in that we recommend using a CNAME setup to publish your pages rather than using the plugin. And we do that because basically not every Convertri feature is compatible with the plugin. So you need to check your pages to make sure they're working the way you want them to work. If you're using CNAME, so you're setting up your pages on a subdomain, so in that case you'd have your main WordPress site would be on www.dawn.com, and your Convertri pages would be on a subdomain like orders.dawn.com or sales.dawn.com. And if you do it that way around, then you generally get a lot better results. The speed is faster, more of the features work. It's just generally a better experience. Leon's asking, where do you find past webinar replays in Convertri? If you go into the knowledge base, well, let's just go, no, wrong one. Go to the front page of the knowledge base. Then you see there is a section down here called Q&A webinars. So click that, and there's a load of them here to choose from. There's some of our special training webinars. There's all the Q&A webinars we've done in the past. There's one where we did an interview with a guy called Jim Rigney. He's done a load of really cool stuff with Convertri. He sells a lot of sites to clients. It's an interview we did with him about how he does that. And there's the Sendio training webinar in there as well, one that we did last year. So, yep, that is where you find them. Christina's asking, with Convertri, can you tell how much of a video your prospect has watched? That's not something we currently have. Brian's saying, could you repost your earlier link to access replays? Being late, the posts aren't shown for earlier posted info. Oh, are they not? I thought I'm sorry, I thought you could just access the whole chat when you joined up. That is apparently not true. So yeah, the replay, I mean, this is the general link. So what you're seeing at the moment, this list of all the webinars, that's what's going in the chat now. The specific one you were asking about before. So basically, let's say we've run this webinar in the past. The most recent replay of it is this one. So that link there. And obviously this webinar will be going in the knowledge base as well. So as long as the recording all works, then we'll have it up there probably by Tuesday. JS is saying, can you do an example of adding a shopping cart? Yeah, I think I can do that. So actually, do I have any products set up on this account? I do not. Okay, let's do a quick one. Well, no, hold on. So just call that. Yeah, fine, 297. Why not? So you can build full checkouts with the form elements. You can just have them on the page if you want. I generally prefer to do it with the modal checkout just because I find it quicker. But to do this, if you go into form elements, we'll just drag on another submit button. And we want to change the mode of the button to checkout. And now we want to attach a product to the page. So we'll click products here. So we've attached the product. You can say what the charge message is going to be. You can set the redirect URL. Again, that's filled in automatically because we've got the pages connected with the arrow. There's a load of, you can adjust the headings for the fields that are in the different checkout. You can decide whether or not you want a phone number. You can say what addresses are required, if any. And you can also set up a cart abandonment mailing list. But since we're just doing a quick demo here, and that's basically all you need to do to set up a checkout on your page. When you click that, you'll get the modal checkout, which I'll just show you on a preview. You see the whole thing on the page. It doesn't have a scroll bar. This is just because it's in the editor. But you'll get the checkout just pop up like that, and they'll be able to pay now through that cart. Now, I would love to show you that working in practice, but to do that, I would have to go and I don't have a Stripe account set up on this account, so that is not something that would work on this one. Brian's asking, did you cover how to import a ClickFunnels page? I haven't done that on this webinar, but the way you do it is, let's see, leave that. If you go to import page up here, then if you've got access to the page importer, then you take the URL of your ClickFunnels page, stick that in there, confirm that obviously it is actually your page, or you at least have permission to import it. Add the name, just click import, and that will be pulled into Convertri. Basically, Convertri will scan it and then recreate it as best it can from what it gets. The importer's not perfect, but it is pretty good. There's likely going to be a couple of little bits you'll need to fix up, but it's an awful lot quicker than rebuilding it again from scratch. Joanne's saying, loves David Bowie, but have to choose Ziggy Stardust. Well, I mean, you do make a compelling case. I understand that. But I don't know, there's something about Hunky Dory just gets me. Life on Mars and Queen Bitch are just two amazing songs. And Christina's saying I'm dating myself because I know what an album is. That might well be true. Might well be true. Emiliano's asking, like, is there any possibility to have a training done in Spanish? We don't have any Spanish speakers on the staff, so probably not. I'm afraid, at least like not anytime soon. I would like a bit more like multilingual support for this stuff because I know it would be an awful lot easier for like if you're a Spanish speaker to have this kind of thing delivered in Spanish or French or like Russian, like whatever language you're using. Um, at the moment, I'm afraid it's likely to be English only for the foreseeable future. Philip's asking what third-party software is integrated with Convertri. Um, so you have a list of the integration options. So if you go to Account Integrations, then these are the integrations we have available. So see the generic ones. Stripe is the payment processor. We've got a wide range of autoresponders, some webinar systems, and an SMTP, but that's only really used for the auto webinar system. VJ is asking, how do I upload an HTML page on Convertri? The HTML pages were created on Leap Pages. You can't upload HTML directly, but you can use the page importer like I was showing just a few minutes ago. So if we go to it can be any one of these kind of. So again, import page, put the URL of your page, like in here. Confirm, obviously, that the page is yours. Give it a name, and then hit the import button, and then Convertri will scan it and recreate it as best it can in the editor. Russ is saying, is there an easy way to select basic color in the color picker to start off with? When I create a new site, there is just the color scale. So generally what I do for this, go back into the page. I just have something I can change the color of. So we have our color picker here. We don't currently have any way of adding like a default color set, but white in particular is like I generally find that fairly easy. Just drag it into the corner because white is in the corner of whatever like whatever slider color here you're on. Like the white's always white. So if you just drag it up to the top left, then you'll always have that. Same as black in the bottom down here. Jerry's asking, is there a way to reset my account so I can start all over from setup? There is not, I think. I mean, there's certainly no way of doing it from within the account. Like, there's no button you can push. We might be able to do that in the back end, like from the support desk. I'm not entirely sure, but it's worth asking if that's what you want. Brian's asking, does the CNAME setup work for just a page, or can we add other pages to a domain as well? You can add as many pages as you want on one CNAME subdomain, or at least up to your account limit. Elaine's saying, do you host our videos, or should I use a Wistia link? If you have a pro or agency account, we do provide some video hosting. So let's again leave that. If we go into campaigns and then down here, you'll see videos. And again, I don't have any on this account, but you can you can upload your video file here. So you do have some video hosting space. I think you get 100 gigabytes a month. So you can add your videos to us. You can add them directly to the video element. However, if you would prefer to use a third-party system, then that is also fine. On the in the media bar, we have pre-made elements for Vimeo, Wistia, and YouTube. So you can drag, like if you're using like any one of those three, you can just drag the element on, and that should be like it's fairly easy to embed one of those videos. You can just add the URL. If you're using a different system, which we don't have added, and they give you an embed code, then you can add a custom HTML element. Click Edit HTML, just add the code in there, and that will like add your video in that. JS is asking, would you do one page in US dollars for the US market and duplicate that page for GBP in the UK market, as an example? To be honest, I probably wouldn't myself. If you, I mean, even like our own like website, like Convertri.com, and go to the pricing here. Like I'm in the UK at the moment, we still do it in dollars. Like we've never found it really gives that much of a difference to like to bother showing different currencies for different places. Convertri itself is again one currency per account. You can, if you have agency, if you have sub accounts, you can set different currencies in there. Obviously, if you want that kind of thing, and you don't want to get an agency account, then you can use like if you can use any third party cart that does allow you to set different currencies. Pretty much any cart can be embedded via one of these custom HTML elements. Basically, you take their embed button code, add it in here, and that's all you need to do to add the code to the Convertri page. And you'll get the button appear. You won't be managing you won't be doing stuff like managing the sales in Convertri, but I mean a lot of carts have fairly robust systems for that kind of thing anyway. So it may well not make that much difference to you. Christina says, does that connect to Stripe, Square, or what? I assume you're talking about the modal cart, which I showed you. That's this is the problem of kind of doing the thing and then scrolling down the questions afterwards. Assuming I've got that right, that will connect to Stripe. That is the payment processor we have at the moment. And then we have Dawn's asking, is PayPal available? We don't currently have a PayPal integration for the cart, but to answer yours and Evaristo's question right after, can we have a PayPal button? You can add a PayPal button like I've just shown you here, either by adding the code in like an HTML element and clicking Edit HTML, or alternatively, because PayPal give you links that just work as bylinks, then you can take one of these button elements. If you change the mode to link, you can add your PayPal link in there, and then that'll just work as a PayPal buy button. Elaine's asking, so we don't need an external shopping software? Honestly, depends what you're trying to do. Like we have a built-in cart. It'll certainly do you for simple things. It's not the most advanced cart that's out there. But if you're only looking, like generally, if you're looking to make like digital sales, then we work pretty well. If you're looking to make physical sales, then most people use a third-party system for that. Lisa says David Bowie is timeless. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Brian's asking, does Convertri have IP address geolocation ability to dynamically change text location for a page? We can dynamically change the text on the page, but that is based through query strings. We can't do it based on the IP address. Barry's asking, are there any plans to support PayPal as a payment processor? Yes, there are. This is one of the probably one of our biggest screw ups as a product development thing. We've had PayPal as a thing we want for like 2 years and not actually got around to building it yet. But we are looking at doing a fairly significant amount of cart upgrades at the moment. Like one of my jobs in Convertri is doing like the product manager role, so deciding what things we want to be building, scoping the different features, and like I've been looking at a lot of cart upgrades for that kind of thing. So we're looking at adding an inventory system, a fulfillment system, or at least tracking systems for those two. We're looking at integrations of places like Lulu and Printful. And yes, we are looking at integrating PayPal and other payment processors into the cart. Now, it's not like that kind of stuff is going to turn up tomorrow, but it is something we're actively looking at. It's going through the product dev process at the moment. So hopefully over the next few months, you'll start to see that kind of thing come through. Keith says, thank you, but got to go now. It's 2:40 a.m. in Brisbane. Well, thank you for staying up so late, Keith. Rial's asking, which is better when importing a lead page or ClickFunnels page? Use the page importer or upload the HTML code? Well, I mean, you can't upload the HTML code, so definitely the page importer is the way to go. VJ is asking, how do we convert an image to a transparent form? I'm not sure I follow, sorry. Christina's saying, if posting videos on Convertri, do they load faster? Yes, they do. We actually put quite a lot of thought into like the infrastructure for this hosting. It's basically it does some very clever things with splitting up the video into chunks and loading the next chunk as one is playing. We've tested like these videos playing from all around the world, and they do load incredibly quickly. On top of that, obviously we've optimized our video element player as well, so that I think YouTube we tested it with GTmetrix. I think YouTube added you add a YouTube element adds like 2 seconds to your page load, something like that. Mostly because, to be honest, mostly because it's just a bit bloated. YouTube do a load of tracking stuff, which you don't really get the benefit from, I think. But obviously, it's useful for YouTube. But that adds about 2 seconds or so to your page load time. Our video player, because we don't do that kind of stuff, it only adds like 0.2 seconds. So short answer is yes. If you host your videos on Convertri and use our video element, they will load a lot faster. Oh, Brian still can't see the link to past replays. Let's try that again. Yeah, I've sent that link again. I hope you have it this time. TW is asking, is the Convertri website built with Convertri? Yes, it is. You can even see the little powered by Convertri box at the bottom. Brian asks, will the cart take recurring payments monthly? Yes, it will. In fact, let me see if I can show you quickly the options you've got with that. So let's just go into price. So if you tick this product is recurring, then you can set like a price that is billed like every number, and then you can choose days, weeks, months, or years. You can set up so it's like not so much recurring as payment plans if you prefer. So obviously at the moment it's like it never stops, like the billing never stops. So that'll just go on forever. You can set like it'll stop after 6 payments. So in this case it'd be 297 like every month for 6 months. If you like, you can offer a trial. So you can have like a trial period for like a small payment. And again, you can adjust the length on that. You can even offer a second trial if you want. So yes, there's a few options you can do with that kind of thing. Barry's asking, can you integrate Google Analytics with your Convertri site? Yes, you can. We do, in fact. That is something you can do through the custom script system. So we have it set up with Tag Manager because it's just easier that way. You can just update the tag and all the scripts update at once. But to add that to your Convertri page, you can add it at page, funnel, domain, or even account level. If you go into the script section here, add the script, just stick your Google Analytics code in there, hit save, and then that will be published on all the pages at the relevant level, or it'll be automatically added to all the pages at the relevant level. You'll need to publish the pages to make it actually load. Dave's asking, if we host a custom domain name on Convertri, do we get a cPanel login? You don't get a cPanel login because you're not hosting the domain as such. The domain will be you'll have your name servers on Convertri, so you can load all your pages that way. Do I have any custom domains on this so I can show you what you do get? No, it doesn't look like it. But you can, from Convertri, you can manage the DNS records, you can set up the subdomains, you can add things like the text records for the autoresponder, that kind of thing. You can do all that within Convertri. All right, VJ wants to make the images on the page have some transparency. That's not something you can do within the Convertri editor. So you'd need to do that within, you'd need to say use Photoshop, adjust the image that way, and then upload that to Convertri. You can adjust the opacity of panels and layers, but you can't do that with images. Oh, good. Brian finally has the link for the replay. And yes, everyone is watching Netflix and YouTube at the moment. It's doing a number on our bandwidth as well. Okay, I have reached the end of the questions. So does anyone have? Is there anything I've missed? Does anyone have anything else they would like to ask? VJ says, what is the cost of upgrading to a Pro version? The standard price for Pro is $69 a month. Sometimes we run special offers on that. They're generally once every few months. We did the last one in February. You can generally get good deals. If you can wait, then you can generally get good deals if you go for one of those. Obviously, if you happen to have Pro at the time and you happen to see a special offer for it, then you can get that special offer price as well. That's not a problem. Christina's saying, moving my website to Convertri for hosting. Excellent plan. Where do I start? Probably the best place is to get your domain set up. I've put the link to the training on that in there in the chat a couple of times. I'll just do so again, just to make sure you've got it. In fact, I'll give you the start here one, because there's a few different methods of setting up a domain on Convertri. You almost certainly want the name servers, so setting up a new custom domain, but you can have a look and see if you've got the options, which one is best. So that is that article there. In terms of how to use Convertri, then again, I would recommend going to the Convertri crash course, which is just at convertricrashcourse.productdino.com. Again, I'll just add that link in there again as well. This is definitely the best place to basically practice with the editor. It's got some exercises you can go through. There's step-by-step guides on how to do a load of cool stuff. So that's probably where I would go with it. Brian's asking, when will you have or sell full funnels to money-making products? Do you mean like having so buying the full funnel from us? So like you've got the product, you've got the lead magnet, you've got the pages. To be honest, that's not something we'd particularly consider, assuming I'm thinking of the right thing. Sometimes when we run affiliate promotions, we give away like mini funnels so you'd have like an opt-in page, a lead magnet, a thank you page, that kind of thing for a niche. I don't think we've ever done that for like the full funnel with the product as well. If there's interest, again, that's certainly a thing we could look into. Like that would probably be, like as you say, that would probably be something we would like sell as an optional extra, because it feels like quite a lot of work to put together. I'm just kind of thinking off the top of my head here, but yeah, I mean, again, if it's something that people would be interested in, it's certainly something we could look at. Fanu's asking, where is the link for the Convertri crash course? I just stuck that in the chat. Can you see it? Christine says you've got a domain and a full site, so yeah, in that case, yeah, I think probably what I said. Go start with get your domain set up on Convertri with the custom domain start here article, and then if you haven't used Convertri much in the past, I definitely absolutely recommend going through the Convertri crash course to give yourself a full grounding in the app. Otherwise, you probably want to, if you have access to the page importer, I would probably start by importing your pages and then doing whatever fixing up they need and start getting them up there. Dave's saying, if I build a website on Convertri, can I export that site as a zip file and then FTP the zip file to a Namecheap hosting? Or is it better just to create opt-in pages on Convertri and add them to the external website? It's definitely better just to create opt-in pages on Convertri and then add them on a CNAME domain, something like that. There is a kind of HTML export that you can do with your pages, but it's basically just iframing the page. So we're still hosting them. We need to do that just to get to try and keep the speed for it. But if you're doing that, then it's still running off it's running off your Namecheap hosting before the hosting that we've tweaked for speed gets to it. So there's definitely going to be a bit of slowdown there. If you do a CNAME instead, so you set up a CNAME for sales.dave.com or optin.dave.com and publish your Convertri pages on that subdomain instead, that I think will give you the best results. Okay, but Bobby says, thanks for the time, very much appreciated. Thanks a lot, Bobby. It's like I say, I'm not very comfortable with doing webinars like this. Honestly, this is so far outside my comfort zone. It might as well be on Mars. So it's good to know you're getting something out of it. Francis says, will this webinar be stored under the in the Q&A webinar section of the knowledge base? Yes, it will. Caveat to that, obviously, we are recording this call at the moment. It's not 100% if those recording files work. It's always possible there'll be a corruption or that kind of thing. Doesn't happen very often, does happen occasionally. So I don't like to say absolutely yes, guaranteed 100%. But that's certainly the intention. So we are recording the call. We do intend to put it up in that knowledge base. Okay, Brian says, thanks, got to go and wash your hands. Yes, good plan. Everyone should be washing their hands at the moment. No, sorry, I'm page importer, Christina, not page enforcer, page importer. So I'm probably speaking a bit quickly. There are some really nice comments here, guys. Thank you very much. Definitely makes me feel better. Dawn's asking, is it possible to put a click to call option on a page? Yes, you can do that. Again, let me just dive into here. I should really just keep one of these pages open in a new tab. It'd be a lot quicker. So for this, if you add a button, so again, you want a link type on here. And basically all you need to do here is put in tell and then add your number. I say Convertri will complain because it looks for the HTTP, the HTTPS, or the mail to, but it will work. So don't worry about the error message. That'll work fine. And then once you've got that link in there, if someone's on a mobile, they push the button, then yeah, it'll ring the number. Richard's saying, can you post the link to the knowledge base, please? I absolutely can. And if I had any sense, I would even just keep it open. There we are. It is at help.convertri.com, and that has just gone into the chat. TW asks, is it possible to share pages or funnels to other Convertri accounts? Yes, it is. So I'll show you how to do it for pages. You do it for funnels the exact same way. So here, on this three-dot menu, go to More. Then there's a share button here, and you get a few different options for this. You can give someone this share link, or you can give them a share code. And I mean, the share code is really only there because it's an older method. The link is usually better. The reason the link is better is, first of all, it's a bit more convenient because they can just click the link and it'll be automatically added to their template selection. The code will do the same thing. It's just a bit fiddlier to use. But also, you can give these share links to people who don't have Convertri accounts. And if they don't have a Convertri account, it'll take them to a sign-up page where if they sign up for a Convertri account, through that page, through that link you've sent them, then you'll automatically get the affiliate commission on it. So that's quite a good way. If you want to share Convertri around, if you want to get commission on it, that's quite a good way of doing it. It'd be like I've made this awesome page. Here's a way to get it. And yes, you can do the same thing with the funnels, just in the more here, and there's a share option there, and you get the share code, the share link. Francis asks, what are the main advantages and uniquenesses of Convertri when compared to your closest competitive tools? Okay, well, obviously the one that we like best, the one that we've done quite a lot of work on, is the page speed. If we go to our own homepage here, you can see this is not a small page. It is quite a big page. It's got this big background video at the top. That's all running off Convertri, and it loaded pretty fast. We are, I'm pretty certain we are the fastest, the fastest pages out there. And that is important just because, the longer your pages take to load, the less people are going to wait around for them. So, the more, the faster your pages load, the better your conversions are, is really it, because you just get more people hitting that page. We actually did, we do tests every now and then, just checking our pages against our competitors, against trying them against straight HTML, checking the conversions against those. I think in the last one we did the Convertri page. Basically, we built a page not dissimilar to this one, in a few different sites. The Convertri page converted 25% better, thereabouts. And the only difference really was the page speed for it. So that is clearly a very big thing. The other main one that people come to us over platforms like ClickFunnels is the freeform editor. So I'm not sure how much this webinar you've seen, but a lot of other page builders, a lot of other funnel builders use a block-based system where things get put in rows and columns. Like we don't do that. Like with us, you can just pick things up, you can put it wherever you want, and that means you can get a lot more variety of design in Convertri than you can like with a lot of other page builders. So that's one reason quite a lot of people like us. And the other one is that like we're just lovely people, and we like David Bowie, and those are both amazing reasons. So. Dave's asking, will the click to call work from a laptop with a microphone in addition to a mobile phone? I don't know, to be honest. One way to find out, I guess. Sam's saying, under form thank you page, when I put google.com, the video stops and Google shows instead. I'm not sure I follow, sorry. Oh, actually, yeah, Christina's brought up another one, Francis, saying the undo button is amazing. ClickFunnels don't have it. And that is honestly something I was quite surprised by when we were looking at scoping Convertri for this kind of thing. But a lot of apps don't have like a good undo feature. Whereas basically with us, like you just click the button and you can undo whatever you've done, which is quite convenient. Cool, I'm glad you like the answer. Okay, any more for any more? I know we've been going for quite a long time now. Well, looks like some of you are checking out that page. Right, you're trying to, Sam, you're trying to work through the video lead page article. I can't really answer that. I would need to have a look at your account and see how you've got it set up. Sorry, it's not something I can do on a webinar. France is asking, is there a way to import funnels from ClickFunnels into Convertri easily? Yes, pretty easily. If you go to, like, if you've got any funnel like this open, if you go to import page, then we have a page importer. I think if you've got a pro account or above, you have access to this. Then you can add any like URL for a page that you own into, or like a page you've got permission to use, obviously. You add that URL into the box here, confirm that you own it, add the page name, click import, and then Convertri will scan the page and create a version of it in Convertri. And it's not going to be entirely perfect, but it'll be an awful lot quicker than recreating it from scratch. Dave's asking, does the page importer also include all the JavaScript? I think it will just import the look of the page. So if you've got scripts on the page, then you'll need to add them again. But again, that's fairly easily done through the custom scripts area. Again, you can do that through the page menu in the page itself. You can do them at the funnel menu, at the funnel level through this menu here, or you can even do it at the account level. So you can go to account and scripts. Any script you add here will just be added to any page you put into the account. So especially if you've got something like analytics scripts, you just want them on every page, you can just stick them on there and then forget about it. Dawn's saying, if you have a personalized video with a URL, will it play on Convertri? I haven't tried, but I don't see why not. Francis is asking, how do I know if I have the pro account? Basically, if you're on like one of your dashboard screens, like in the back end like this, in the bottom left corner, there is a little like orange tag. And that will say one of four things. It will say charter, standard, pro, or agency. And the page importer is available on every pro and agency account. It is available on some standard accounts, depending on what deal you got. So, I mean, the easiest way to check really is to go into any funnel like this. Oh god, do you know what I've clicked into here? I've clicked into the very first pages we built on Convertri. Look at that. So it's actually signing up to the Convertri beta ages ago. If you click on import page up here, then you see here there's a heading import from external URL. So it's either there or it's not. If you don't have it, then obviously you can upgrade. You can also buy the page importer as just a standalone upgrade if you want. I think it's 197 a year. So it's available that way if that's what you want. And indeed, if you don't have it, you may well already have it in there. Vincent's saying, I may have a Charter account. Can I import a ClickFunnels into that account that way? Charter accounts, as a rule, don't have access to the page importer. However, like I said, it is available as a standalone upgrade. So if you don't want to, go the whole hog and get Pro, then you can just get the page importer on its own. If you email support, they'll be able to provide you with a link for that. Dawn's asking, which is better, Pro or agency? I mean, I don't know. It's really about better. It's more about what you want to do with it. Like the big thing about agency is the sub accounts, really. So if you want to have, say, multiple Stripe accounts, multiple Mailchimp accounts, multiple currencies, that kind of thing, if you want to have that kind of thing for your own business, or if you want to set up clients like with their own little area with their own integrations, then you definitely want agency for that. If you don't want to do that kind of thing, then Pro's probably fine. Okay, I think we are again about at the end. Yeah, I'll give it a couple of minutes just see if any more questions come in. Does the crash course show how to add upsells and downsells to an offer? I believe so, but in either case, that's like if you're doing it with the Convertri cart, then you can just set up the all the products that you want to use in Convertri, and then add have your front end page as the redirect, set that as your upsell page. Like Convertri doesn't know the difference between like an upsell and a downsell. It's entirely just how you wire them up in the funnel. So you've got quite a lot of flexibility there. Dawn says, your tag says pro. Does that mean you don't have agency features? Yes. If you've got, if it says pro, then you've got a pro account, so you don't have the sub accounts. But again, that's the main thing. So it really depends if that's the kind of thing you want or not. Like if you're not interested in the sub accounts, then pro's probably gonna do you fine. VJ is asking, do you have a one-time or annual cost upgrade for the Pro Agency versions? We don't have a one-time one, but you can get them as annual if you want. Um, and you can do that either like direct through the website, or you can just email support and they'll be able to provide you the link. VJ asking how much it is. I believe the full price annual Pro is, I think it's 696 a year, dollars, that is. Um, if you are a charter member, then you can get a special deal on that. Again, if you email support, they'll be able to give you the details. Okay, I think that is everything. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming along and for sticking through it. Like I say, we've been going for something like 2 hours and 20 minutes now, and there's still like plenty of you on the call. Um, so yeah, I think I'm going to have to call it here because my voice is starting to die. But thank you very much for coming along. I should be doing another one of these in a couple of weeks if you want a refresher, or like I said, the replay should be going up in the knowledge base by the end of Tuesday. Uh, yep. So, and yes, thank you guys very much. I hope you have a great weekend, and it's not too yeah. And I hope lockdown is treating you well. Okay. Thanks everyone. Stay safe.